Chapter 1: The Unpredictable Nature of Financial Behavior. Money is often taught as a subject of formulas, charts, and strategic models, but the author begins by explaining that financial success is not driven by intelligence alone. It is driven by behavior. This chapter establishes a central truth. People do not make financial decisions based on facts. They make them based on emotions, habits, experiences, and personal history. The Psychology of Money, PDF. Two individuals with the same education, same income, and same access to information can make entirely different choices about money and end up with completely different outcomes. Why? Because their behaviors are different. 1. Personal history shapes financial decision-making. Your approach to money is not shaped by global economics. It is shaped by how your parents handled money, the economic environment you grew up in, your early experiences with scarcity or abundance, cultural expectations, the stability or instability of your childhood. Someone raised in a stable environment with job security develops a mindset of trust and optimism. Someone raised in recession, unemployment, or financial hardship develops caution and fear. Both behave rationally based on their experiences, not based on universal truth. The Psychology of Money, PDF 2, Intelligence Does Not Guarantee Financial Success. A central argument in this chapter is financial outcomes are driven more by behavior than IQ. A person with a high degree of intelligence may still overspend, take unnecessary risks, follow trends, blindly fail to save misuse, credit, invest emotionally. Meanwhile, someone with average intelligence but disciplined behavior may accumulate significant wealth. The author highlights that markets reward consistency, patience, emotional control, and long-term thinking, not raw intelligence. The Psychology of Money, PDF 3. Luck and Risk, the Invisible Forces Behind Outcomes. Financial success cannot be explained exclusively by personal decisions. There are unseen external forces: luck timing, economic cycles, industry booms, unexpected downturns, health events, political shifts. Two people can make the same decisions. One succeeds, one fails, because outcomes are not purely logical. They are influenced by variables outside personal control. The Psychology of Money, PDF. This realization leads to a professional conclusion. Good decisions do not always produce good results. Bad decisions do not always produce bad results. Thus, humility and caution are essential. 4. The stories. We tell ourselves about money. Everyone builds financial beliefs from limited personal experience. If someone invests during a booming market, they believe investing is simple. If someone invests during a crash, they believe investing is dangerous. Neither belief is fully accurate. It reflects personal history, not economic reality. The Psychology of Money, PDF. This chapter encourages readers to question assumptions, understand personal bias, avoid comparing themselves to others, accept that everyone's financial path is different. 5. The professional insight: money is emotional, not mathematical. The author states that financial planning is often presented like engineering: exact, predictable, and formulaic. But in practice, fear, greed, confidence bias, social pressure, impulse habits drive decisions far more than spreadsheets or formulas. The Psychology of Money, PDF. Therefore, financial success requires emotional discipline, self-awareness, long-term thinking, calmness during volatility, avoiding reactionary behavior. This makes finance a behavioral science, not just a mathematical one. 6. The importance of respecting different financial beliefs. A powerful message of this chapter is that not all financial decisions need to be optimized. They simply need to make sense for the individual. Someone may avoid risk due to past trauma, save excessively due to fear of shortage, avoid credit because they saw debt destroy families, invest aggressively because they grew up in boom periods. These decisions may not be textbook optimal, but they are personally rational based on experience. The Psychology of Money PDF. Chapter 1. Professional Summary. This chapter reframes money from being a technical subject to a psychological one. Key takeaways. People make decisions based on emotions, not formulas. Personal history shapes financial behavior. Luck and risk influence outcomes more than we admit. Intelligence alone does not guarantee wealth. Financial success requires emotional discipline. Everyone sees money differently, and that is normal. This foundation sets the stage for deeper behavioral concepts throughout the book. Money is often treated as a technical subject, something that can be mastered through formulas, charts, and strategies. Yet the reality is that financial success is driven far less by numbers and far more by human behavior. The way people spend, save, invest, and take risks is influenced not by perfect logic, but by emotions, habits, upbringing, and personal psychology. This is the foundation of the psychology of money. Every person carries a unique financial story. The lessons they absorb from childhood, the environment they grew up in, the opportunities they received, and the challenges they faced all shape their relationship with money. A person raised during periods of stability develops different instincts than someone raised in economic turmoil. As a result, two people with the same financial knowledge may behave very differently and achieve very different outcomes. One of the central truths about money is that we rarely make purely rational decisions. Instead, we make decisions that feel right based on our experiences. What seems reckless to one person may feel perfectly natural to another. What seems safe to one person may feel limiting to someone else. Human behavior is inconsistent, emotional, and shaped by memories, fears, and desires, which is why financial outcomes differ so widely. Understanding this human element is essential because it prevents us from judging others and helps us understand ourselves. Financial behavior is not universal, and it is personal. When individuals realize that their financial habits are influenced by psychological forces, they gain greater awareness and control over their decisions. One of the greatest distortions in financial thinking is the tendency to underestimate the role of luck and risk. Success and failure are never fully earned, and outcomes are rarely the result of a single factor. People who achieve extraordinary success rarely do so by skill alone. Timing, environment, and opportunity play major roles. Similarly, financial failures often occur despite good decisions simply because external factors shift unexpectedly. This understanding encourages humility. It reminds us not to idolize success excessively or condemn failure too harshly. Another critical insight is that wealth is what you don't see. Most people associate wealth with visible displays, houses, cars, gadgets, lifestyles. But real wealth is quietly accumulated and quietly held. It exists in bank accounts, investments, paid-off assets, and future optionality. A luxurious lifestyle can easily hide financial fragility, while financial stability often appears ordinary. Understanding this difference protects us from the trap of comparison and the illusion of status. A defining principle of financial behavior is the power of saving. Wealth is not simply about income, it is about the gap between income and expenses. A modest income combined with disciplined saving can outperform a high income accompanied by lifestyle inflation. Savings create flexibility, reduce stress, and offer opportunities that cannot be bought by high earnings alone. Building wealth requires patience and the ability to delay gratification, a skill that pays off exponentially over time. Another key idea is that money has no universal instruction manual. What feels right financially is deeply influenced by personal goals, tolerance for risk, and emotional triggers. Some people seek security, others seek freedom, others seek excitement, and others seek control. Because of this diversity, financial decisions must be aligned with personal values, not with the expectations of others. The healthiest financial life is one that reduces stress and aligns with personal meaning. Human behavior also struggles with compounding and the mechanism that makes small actions produce massive outcomes over long periods. Compounding is powerful, but it requires consistency and time. The difficulty is that compounding does not feel rewarding in the short term. There is no instant gratification. Results appear slow before they suddenly accelerate. Those who respect compounding, nurture it, and remain patient are those who eventually experience its extraordinary rewards. Another essential truth is that financial planning must account for uncertainty. The future is unpredictable, and rigid plans often break under unexpected circumstances. Rather than predicting the future, individuals benefit more from building margins of safety, buffers that absorb volatility. This may include extra savings, conservative investment strategies, or decisions that prioritize long-term resilience over short-term optimization. A common behavioral trap is the desire for more, the belief that happiness lies just beyond the next financial milestone. But satisfaction is rarely determined by net worth. It is determined by expectations. When expectations rise faster than income, people can feel poor despite earning well. The key is learning to recognize sufficiency, the moment when additional wealth adds complexity, not happiness. Managing expectations is one of the most powerful financial tools. The relationship between money and freedom is central to financial well-being. True wealth is not measured by possessions, but by control over one's time. The ability to wake up and decide how to spend the day is the ultimate form of financial power. Money enables this freedom when used wisely. People who design their financial lives around autonomy tend to experience greater satisfaction than those who pursue money solely for appearances. Another insight is that people tend to behave differently during different market conditions. When the economy is booming, confidence increases and risks appear smaller. When markets fall, fear dominates and people retreat. The challenge is maintaining emotional balance in both conditions. Overconfidence can destroy wealth just as quickly as panic. Emotional discipline is the stabilizing force that guides responsible behavior. The unpredictability of markets leads to another principle. Long-term thinking is a superpower. Short-term fluctuations often trigger emotional reactions, but long-term perspectives allow individuals to stay calm, rational, and consistent. Those who resist the urge to react impulsively and instead maintain steady strategies are rewarded over time. Another behavioral pitfall is the belief that wealth must be maximized rather than optimized. Excessive risk-taking in the pursuit of higher returns often leads to catastrophic losses. Sometimes the smartest financial decision is not the one with the highest potential return, but the one that balances growth with security. Optimizing for peace of mind is as valuable as optimizing for profit. A crucial component of financial stability is acknowledging that people change over time. The goals someone has at age 20 may differ from their goals at 40 or 60. Financial strategies must adapt accordingly. Recognizing the fluid nature of personal values allows individuals to revise their plans without guilt or regret. Another behavioral insight is that envy is an unavoidable financial emotion. It arises naturally when people compare their progress to others. But comparison distorts reality. Each person's journey is shaped by unique circumstances. The healthiest approach is to stay focused on personal goals and ignore external noise. Additionally, financial success depends on avoiding mistakes. People often believe that success comes from superior strategy, but more often it comes from minimizing avoidable errors, unnecessary debt, poor risk decisions, emotional reactions, lifestyle inflation, and unmanaged expectations. Avoiding negative outcomes is often more important than maximizing positive ones. One of the most powerful principles in financial psychology is that people must choose a strategy they can stick with. A strategy that is mathematically optimal but emotionally unbearable will fail. Stability comes from aligning behavior with temperament. If someone prefers low volatility, conservative investments are better. If someone tolerates fluctuation, higher growth strategies may be suitable. Long-term consistency matters far more than technical perfection. Money also influences relationships. Financial stress can strain families, while aligned financial values strengthen them. Open communication is essential. Silence creates misunderstandings that can quietly erode trust. Healthy financial relationships require clarity, empathy, and mutual respect. Another behavioral principle is that people must be careful when learning from others. Observing someone's success without understanding the context can lead to harmful imitation. A strategy that works for one person may not work for another. The key is extracting principles, not copying actions. Financial independence is ultimately the product of many small decisions accumulated over time. These decisions include saving consistently, investing wisely, managing expectations, understanding risk, and resisting emotional impulses. Mastery of money does not require brilliance. It requires behavioral awareness. The final insight is that achieving financial well-being is less about mastering external markets and more about mastering internal reactions. The world will always be uncertain. Markets will rise and fall. Economic conditions will shift. But individuals who cultivate emotional discipline, patience, humility, and long-term thinking will consistently navigate uncertainty and build stable, meaningful wealth.